Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming back, many of you who went down to the registration for the orientation portion. My goal is to keep this to about 20 to 30 minutes. It is really just a brief synopsis of what's in our handbook and some of the things you might find as you come to school here and join our school family. And so we'll take it, and then if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them afterwards or any time throughout the year as we move forward. But to begin, our theme for the school year this year is by grace alone. And the passage that it is focusing on, you can see, is from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, which is, by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not of your own doing, it is a gift of God. And what a blessing that we have, and we share this with our kids every day at school, that everybody makes mistakes, but by God's grace, those mistakes are forgiven. And heaven is ours someday. And that is always the focus in everything that we do at school here. You can move on. Each week we begin our school week with a chapel service. So most often you'll find that it is on Monday mornings. That starts at 8:10. If we happen to not have school on a Monday, then it's on Tuesday morning. But we always start our school week, whichever day that happens to be, with a chapel service. And the kids are more than welcome and encouraged to support the missions that we've chosen. The first mission for our fall semester is Trinity Hmong Church. They worship here at First German, but they're raising money to purchase their own church. They've been with us for about 25 years worshiping in our congregation, but are looking to get their own footprint in Manitowoc. And then in spring, we are going to give our offerings to a program that's part of our larger church body called the Truth and Love Ministry, and their focus is in mainly Idaho and Utah and reaching out to the unchurched over in those parts of our country. So that's where we're headed there. A couple big handbook items. Some of you might be used to this, for some it might be new, but it's always good to have that reminder. The first one is that if you have a cell phone or your child has a cell phone, when they come to school, first thing they do is turn it off and they drop it in the bucket on their teacher's desk. And that goes with all other devices. If they bring a tablet to school, any type of electronic device, it gets turned off and put on the teacher's desk. And then they get it back at the end of the day when they leave. Next one is, we do not have a shorts or wearing shorts rule at school. Some schools maybe you're like, you can't wear shorts after October 15th, but then it's 75 degrees in November, end of October, and that's the rule. So our rule for dressing is simply dress for the weather. So if it's cold outside, then we're going to go outside pretty much every day, so dress for the weather. And the last one that is there is, all of you should have received the school handbook if you went down in the gym. Be sure to read that. There's a lot of good information in there, and a lot of the things that we do in following school. This is always a question that we have, because we're part of the school choice voucher program. Sometimes families forget that the school choice voucher, that tuition voucher, does not cover the before care or after care billing. And so it's just a reminder that if you get that bill in the mail because you've used the before school care or the after school care, that you still have to pay that bill. And that always comes out at the end of the month, and you have about 30 days to pay it. But if you're struggling, and sometimes that happens with families, then be sure to contact the office and we can work out a payment plan for you. PowerSchool Parent Portal. If you went downstairs in the gym, you may have seen Mr. Schleiss, our new technology director, and he may have helped you parents sign up into the parent portal in PowerSchool. What that does is it allows you to see your child's grades whenever you want and see how they're doing in school, so you can keep tabs on them. And then there's different settings that you can add. So if they're missing an assignment or have late work of any kind, you can get notifications about those things. School pictures, if you went down in the gym, and I think most of you did, then your child has already had their picture taken. If it does not turn out, we will schedule a retake day, or if they were a little too shy to take a picture today, there will be another opportunity and we'll let you know when that happens, but it'll be within the first few weeks of the school year. Can you go back one more? So all of our school pictures, once they're all uploaded from our photographer onto our account called SmugMug, then I will send you the link to that account. And then whatever you do with your child's picture is up to you. If you want to send it to Walgreens or Walmart or Costco or Snapchat Fish or whatever, any of those picture producing places, you can make them into posters, you can make them into wallets, you can do with them however you want to use them. They are yours to have. I think that's it. Aftercare. If you end up using aftercare, aftercare starts at 3:30. School is dismissed at 3:15, and then at 3:30, if your child's not picked up yet, they will be put into our aftercare program. If the weather is nice, they will be on the playground up in front of the church building, and you can just pick them up there. If the weather is colder, or in winter when it gets dark earlier, then they go into our aftercare room, which is down in the lower level of the school, down in the basement. And if you go to the north school doors, the ones that are facing that way, like the bank and that thing, outside that school door, just to the right, you will see this call box. And when you come pick up your child, you just press the button on the call box, and our aftercare worker will buzz you in so you can go in. And then it's an immediate left down the steps to the basement, and then it'll be your first door on the right once you're downstairs. School day reminders. This is a new thing for us this year, is that the school doors will open at 7:40 in the morning. We have before care that starts at 7. If you need arrangements to drop your kids off before 7, our before care worker is more than willing to come in as long as it's pre-planned. So if you have to be at work at 7, so you can make arrangements with her to drop your child off at 6:45. She is more than willing to come in and help you with that. But pre-planning is key, otherwise she's not going to be here. And then the kids come right in that main entryway where you guys came in this evening for the first round of pictures, and they hang out there until the doors open, and then off to the classrooms they go. Afternoon pickup is slightly different. So when you come to pick up your child in the afternoon, we have the blue line that you see there. I should start out by saying there will be cones that cut our parking lot in half, like 2 lanes for driving. It is all one way, so you enter off of the A Street entrance over here. And if you are going to go through what we call the McDonald's drive-in or drive-through, then you will take the right lane and the closest one to the building, and you just curve around. And then as you reach those north school entry doors, your child will hopefully be ready and waiting for you, because we'll be calling names as you're snaking through. And then they hop in the car, and then off you go out 7th Street. If you want to walk up to pick up your child, and we encourage that, especially if your child is in need of still wearing or using a car seat or something, so you have to hop out and buckle them in, then it slows the drive-through lane down a little bit if the parents are hopping out. So what you can do is you would follow that yellow line that you see on the screen. So you'd come in off of 8th Street, but on the left side, on the playground side, and then curve around and then park along the fence that is on the north side of our property, and then you can get out of your car and walk across the lane to come pick up your child, and then walk them back to your car. And then I think that's it. You may have seen this already if you've been downstairs, but if your child needs to take any sort of medication during school, we don't provide any of that. What you would do is bring the medication in the bottle from the store or from the pharmacy, and then we have a form that you sign in the office, and you can get that from Mr. Miller in the office, and then that will give us the guidance on how to administer it for your child. If your child has something that is on an as-needed basis, like throughout the year, then I would just stop in the office as soon as you have that, and then we will just store it there for you behind a locked cabinet until your child needs to take that. Communication is always a big one. So we have several ways that we communicate to you everything that's going on at school. First of all, if you walked through the gym already, hopefully you were able to sign up for the Seesaw app, or at least got an account login for that. That is the way you will get all the classroom news and classroom pictures and things like that for your child. So that's the big, like for the localized classroom news. Then we also send out a more general, broad, all-school information called Notes and News, and that will come home on Fridays, and that is through email from me, and then I will also post it on that same Seesaw app. So you should be able to get it two different ways. If you are a parent who loves hard copies, just let our office know or let me know, and then I will make sure to print a copy and stick it in your child's backpack on Fridays. Okay? Yep, that's it. Then, if you are ever wondering what is going on at school or what is the schedule at school, if you go to our school website and scroll down, you will see a Google Calendar, and on that calendar is hopefully up-to-date information. We try to stay on top of it the best we can, but that is all the different school events and games for those kids that are in sports, things like that. Concerns. This always happens. When you have a large family like our school family, there's always concerns. There's always, I didn't hear that, or, my child said this happened, and, is that really what happened, or things like that. But when you need to share a concern, there's a good way to do it. First of all, let's not go to social media first, because there's nothing good that happens when you post something on social media and then explodes everywhere. Because there are many times where maybe the teacher wasn't even aware that something happened because it wasn't shared to them during the school day. So if you have a concern, the best thing to do is go to that teacher first and see if it can be handled. If it can't, then you can come see me, and then I will meet with you and the teacher to make sure that we can try to satisfy whatever the disagreement is. Okay? And there's a more detailed process in the handbook, so that's why the handbook is important to read. But every family, and you probably know it in yours, there's always disagreements, or you have different points of view on something. And same with the school family. Sometimes it's just on a larger scale, because we have a family of about 350 people in our school family. So if you have a disagreement, we teachers are all ears, and we want to help and listen and try to sort things out for you. Yep. All right. So, sports equipment. If you were walking through the gym, you saw a table that had soccer cleats on it and shin guards, some soccer socks, things like that. We have a borrow kind of season, so families who outgrow soccer cleats, then they donate them, and then you can use them. Because in the fall, we have a 2-weekend tournament. So the K-4 kids play on 2 Saturdays in September, and the 5 to 8 kids play on 2 Saturdays in September. And so you don't necessarily need to go buy a brand new pair of cleats for those 2 days of soccer games, right? So we have the lending program there. So feel free to use it, and then if you have cleats sitting at home, feel free to donate to it. We always take those things. And then we have added on volleyball shoes that are gently used, basketball shoes that are gently used, and even the volleyball knee pads. So if you find any of those things, we try to have a collection for those families in our school that could use it. Athletics. When you were downstairs, you met Mr. Miller, our athletic director. He was the guy at the sports table. But here are just a few highlights. So volleyball for grades 4 through 6. Your practice will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays until 5 o'clock. That starts next week, Tuesday. Volleyball players 6th through 8th grade, your practices will be on Monday and Wednesday until 5, and that actually starts the first day of school. So in 2 days, this Wednesday is their first practice. And all games are always on Friday nights. And if you didn't already pick up a schedule, if your kids plan to play, then you can make sure to go back downstairs and grab that. Soccer, we have, as I mentioned, with the soccer cleats, we have several tournaments throughout the month of September. The K to 4 kids get to play on 2 Saturdays, and the 5 to 8 kids get to play on 2 Saturdays. Our kindergarten and first grade team will be practicing in our grassy field behind us here, FG on Wednesdays, right after school until 4:45. 2nd through 8th grades are going to head out to Manitowoc Lutheran High School to practice on a bigger field over there, and that is on Wednesdays also, starting next Wednesday until 5 o'clock. So you would have to make sure you drive your kids over there or make arrangements to get your kids over there for soccer practice. Okay? And then the tournaments are listed there for you if you grab that sheet from Mr. Miller, and we will be posting these on those newsletters also to keep you updated on when those things happen. We also have a cross-country team for grades 4 through 8. That's boys and girls. And they practice on Thursdays. They go running around the neighborhood and do some different calisthenics and things like that. And then we have 2 cross-country meets that we participate in. The Monday, October 5th one is at CNC Links. That is just south of us on Newton, on Highway C over there. And we actually host that one. And then the other one is at our sister school in St. John's Two Rivers the week after that. Basketball season, there will be a lot more information coming about that in late October when those seasons get started. But for the most part, our boys teams and our girls B team will be joining with our sister school Emmanuel, which is just a mile up the road. And we'll be combining our teams with them this year. And C team, that is for mainly 3rd and 4th graders. So as we get closer, if we have enough 3rd and 4th grade boys and girls who are interested in playing basketball, then we will make sure we can get that team set up. And then in spring, all our upper graders had the opportunity to participate on our track team, but since that's in spring, we'll talk about that in spring. Next thing is some handbook key points. You can see some information. This is from the athletic handbook. So the big one I would say is if you did not grab or take a look at that concussion slip, that needs to get signed before your child can play in sports. And then the importance of being, if you're part of the team, to make sure that you're at the practices for the team and participating in the team events, things like that. You can go on, Mrs. Tisch. Volunteering. We love volunteers at First German. So if you saw the volunteer slip on one of the tables downstairs, you can fill that out whenever you have a chance and then put down the interests and where or how you would like to volunteer. And we would love to try to plug you in wherever we can. If you are wanting to volunteer for driving for a field trip when those occur, we do need a copy of your driver's license and proof of insurance. And that can just be dropped off, or you can stop in the office to get those copies made anytime if you didn't do that today. CPO, you probably met some of our CPO board members when you were walking through the gym. That is our parent organization, and that is for every member of our school family. So you guys, it's for grandparents if you want to get them involved. It's for anyone who wants to help support and have some fun with our school family. And they have several events throughout the year. One of the big things is they are fundraising to replace the desks and chairs in every classroom. We are almost complete all the way up to our 5th and 6th grade room. We're going to be finishing that this year and hopefully working towards the 7th and 8th grade room after that. So the goal for each of those is about $10,000 to raise to fill a classroom full of desks and chairs. So It's a big expense and an awesome undertaking that they're doing for the school family. You will see that throughout the year the CPO sponsors several events. We do a movie night here at FG fundraiser. They sell snacks, just like you were attending a movie at the movie theater. They rent out the Strand Adventures in town. So that's a private party for our school family to take over the whole place for about 2 hours, which is pretty cool. And then, if you were able to, we did rent out the Aquatic Center beginning of August for about an hour and a half, and that was only open to our school family. And then they do all sorts of other things throughout the year also. One of the big events for fundraising that they do is the soccer tournament that we host on September 12th. And we run the snack bar for that. So if your child is playing in the sports, well, we want to make sure that you're able to watch them. But maybe you could volunteer to help run that canteen when our games are not going on. Or if your child is not playing, then maybe you'll want to volunteer since your child is not playing to help those parents whose children are, and then they can watch their kids play. And then they'll be paying it forward, because then when your child or children are old enough, then maybe somebody will do that for you. But then when we host volleyball games or basketball games come sports season, there will be opportunities to run the concession for those things also. CPO, we try to have our meetings right after school, so right at the pickup time, so from 3:30 to 4:30, and we will make sure to let you know when those meeting dates are. When they do meet, there is free daycare for every parent who comes to the meeting, and we have extra daycare, aftercare workers who can cover that so that you can attend the meeting. You see the board members there. You may have met some of them when you were down in the gym. And then the two faculty advisors are Mrs. Beege and Ms. Mendoza. You also probably saw this when you were down walking through the gym, but one of the programs our school has is like a meal, I can't speak, helping families with a meal program. And so sometimes a member of our school family, they have surgery, they're in a car accident, maybe they're suffering from an illness, and it's just hard to make a meal. Maybe you've been there before. And so either I or Pastor or one of the teachers, if we hear about it, we'll try to reach out and see if maybe some bringing some meals in for the family can be of help to them. And if they are, then if you signed up on the list, we'll rotate through the list and contact you to see if you'd be willing to donate a meal to the family in need. This is for 5th through 8th grade only, but Manitowoc Lutheran High School has what they call a passport program. So once you're in 5th through 8th grade, you can grab the passport. They were available for the kids down on the tables in the gym. But if the child brings their passport to any of the athletic home events at Manitowoc Lutheran, they get into the event for free, and they get it stamped. And when they collect 6 stamps, they get a ticket, a drawing opportunity to win an iPad. And if they win or do all 12, then they're put in a drawing for a $1,000 scholarship to Manitowoc Lutheran. So when your kids get bigger, 5th through 8th grade, definitely a good way to go cheer on the high school kids. And that is our quick synopsis of lots of orientation things. Give you a little taste of everything that goes on here at school. And as I mentioned before, if you have any questions ever, please feel free to reach out to me. Give me a call, stop by my office when you're dropping the kids off, because we are more than happy to answer your questions, straighten out any concerns you might have, or just chat if that's what you want. So, thank you for coming. Many of you who came back, thank you for coming back, and I look forward to serving you and your kids this school year. Have a great